Some people notice that their body only relaxes after midnight. During the day, even when nothing dramatic is happening, there is a subtle tension. Tasks feel heavier, thoughts feel louder, but at night, something shifts. The same person who struggled to focus at 3 p.m. suddenly feels clear, steady, even peaceful at 11:30 p.m. On the surface, this looks like a simple preference. I'm just a night person. I work better at night. These explanations are socially acceptable and often partially true, but the pattern itself deserves closer attention. Why does calm arrive only when the world goes quiet? During the day, there is exposure, messages, expectations, social roles, unfinished obligations. Even without active interaction, the possibility of being needed or judged remains present. The nervous system stays in a mild state of alertness. It is not panic. It is not crisis. It is a low-level readiness. At night, that readiness has fewer triggers, fewer incoming demands, fewer unpredictable interruptions. The world feels paused. The phone stops vibrating. No one expects immediate answers. The environment communicates safety through absence of activity. What makes this dynamic subtle is that the person may not consciously feel unsafe during the day. They may function well. They may appear productive. The discomfort is often internal and diffuse. It shows up as procrastination, scattered attention, irritability, or unexplained fatigue. Then night comes, and the contrast is noticeable. Finally, there is space. Most people do not question this pattern because it feels like relief, and relief rarely prompts analysis. But when calm exists only under very specific external conditions, it suggests that the nervous system is negotiating something deeper than a simple schedule preference. Patterns like this rarely appear without context. The tendency to feel calm only at night often develops gradually, shaped by repeated experiences, where daytime meant exposure and nighttime meant relief. For many people, childhood played a quiet role. Daytime was structured around performance, school, expectations, social evaluation, family dynamics. Even in stable families, daytime often carried rules, supervision, and correction. Night, in contrast, reduced external demands. Parents were tired, teachers were absent, the environment softened. The child learned, without explicit instruction, that nighttime equals fewer evaluations. Consider a simple example. A child grows up in a home where emotions are unpredictable during the day. A parent may be stressed after work, easily irritated, or overly critical about homework and behavior. The child becomes attentive, careful, slightly guarded. But late at night, when everyone is asleep, the house becomes quiet and neutral. No one is watching. No one is commenting. The body experiences that silence as safety. Or imagine a teenager who felt socially overwhelmed at school. Daytime meant navigating peer dynamics, subtle competition, and constant comparison. At night, alone in their room, there was finally control, no performance required. Over time, the brain begins associating darkness and solitude with lowered vigilance. The nervous system adapts efficiently. When certain conditions repeatedly signal safety, the body learns to relax under those conditions. When other conditions repeatedly involve monitoring, evaluation, or unpredictability, the body maintains mild alertness. This does not require trauma. It can develop through ordinary, repeated micro-experiences of pressure or observation. The brain's primary task is prediction and protection. If night consistently meant fewer social demands and fewer unpredictable interactions, calm becomes tied to that context. Later in adulthood, even when the environment changes, the learned association can remain. The body still waits for external silence before allowing internal quiet. In adult life, this pattern often appears practical, even productive. Many people who feel calm only at night become highly self-sufficient. They work late. They manage responsibilities alone. They rely on their ability to function without interruption. On the surface, this can look like discipline or independence. But there is a quiet trade-off. If calm depends on the absence of external demands, daytime life may always carry a background strain. At work, the person may perform well, yet feel internally compressed. Meetings, deadlines, and social interaction require more energy than they appear to require for others. The individual may postpone important tasks until late evening, not because of laziness, but because their nervous system waits for a predictable window of safety. In relationships, a similar dynamic can emerge. Intimacy involves unpredictability. It involves being seen. Someone who associates calm with solitude may struggle with shared space. They may value closeness intellectually, but feel physiologically more regulated when alone. Independence becomes both a strength and a shield. Financial patterns can also reflect this. A person may prefer freelance or solitary work, avoiding environments with constant oversight. They might choose autonomy, even if it limits growth. Control becomes stabilizing, yet the cost can be isolation or reduced collaboration. The internal paradox is subtle. The same mechanisms that create competence also maintain tension. The person feels capable, but rarely fully relaxed during the day. They value independence, but sometimes experience loneliness. They appear composed, yet rely heavily on specific environmental conditions to feel calm. This conflict often goes unnoticed because the pattern works well enough. There is no obvious crisis. The person meets responsibilities. They may even take pride in being good at night. Without visible dysfunction, there is little reason to question why peace requires darkness. When someone begins to understand this pattern, the first shift is not behavioral. It is interpretive. What previously felt like a personality trait, "I'm just wired this way," becomes recognizable as an adaptation, not a flaw, not a special gift, a logical response to repeated conditions. The model itself is neutral. It developed because it worked. Night offered predictability. Predictability allowed the nervous system to lower its guard. Over time, that association strengthened. There is nothing irrational about a brain that relaxes, where it has historically felt least monitored or least interrupted. Awareness changes the internal narrative. Instead of asking, "Why can't I function like other people during the day?" the question becomes more precise. What signals does my body interpret as demand or exposure? The focus shifts from self-judgment to observation. With that shift, subtle adjustments may occur naturally. A person might notice that it is not darkness itself that brings calm, but the reduction of unpredictability. They may begin to experiment with creating small pockets of controlled quiet during the day, not as a forced correction, but as a curiosity. The body's responses become data rather than evidence of inadequacy. Relationships can also feel different under this lens. The need for solitude is no longer seen as emotional distance, but as regulation. Independence is not overvalued or rejected, it is contextualized. Loneliness, if it appears, is examined without accusation. The tension between autonomy and connection becomes clearer, and therefore less confusing. Nothing